lovely people, my name is Emma and today I'm going to be talking to you about some of my favourite cooperative board games. I did a video a couple of weeks back about some of my favourite two-player board games, and this time I want to focus on cooperative ones where it is you working as a team against the board game itself. I really enjoy cooperative board games. I think they have really interesting game mechanics and they're a lovely alternative if you're not very competitive but you still want to enjoy some board gaming. So everything here I've got listed does work as a two-player but could also work with more, and there were a few two-player specific cooperative board games in the two-player video, so feel free to go back and have a look at that. So the first one I'm going to talk about is The Game. This is a card-based game, and the way it works is you've got a deck filled with the numbers 1 to 100, and what you're trying to do is you have 2 rows of 1 in front of you and 2 rows of 100, and collectively you're trying to get all of your cards placed down without not being able to play them, and you try and go through the deck until you end up with just trying to burn through and seeing how many you get left with at the end. So it's strategic. You've got to make sure that you place things in time. You can only go up on 2 of the stacks and down on the other 2 stacks, and then there is also an expansion built into it where there are specific kind of like bomb cards where if they're in your hand, if they're on the deck, you have to play on them immediately. It's really good fun. The thing that makes it tricky is you're limited in what you can tell your cooperative teammates. So if I've got my hand, I cannot tell my teammates what numbers I have. I can just discuss things like, I would really appreciate it if you leave that deck alone. I've got some good cards for that one, but you can't explicitly say what they are. So it's all about teamwork, communication, and trying to play the odds. Very good fun and very cute, very small. I love small board games. A whole sub-genre of board games that are definitely appearing are more of the escape room style exit games. So an exit game is actually a company. This is the one that I have here, but there are plenty of escape room style board games out there now, so do feel free to go check them out. The way this works is it is trying to simulate a board game as much as it's trying to simulate an escape room as much as it possibly can, so you're working together to solve puzzles as you go through. So if I show you on the back, you've got like a little booklet that starts you off with your story. There's always a cipher that helps you to decode things, and then you have riddle cards, help cards and answer cards, and you discover stuff as you go along. They always have a theme to them, so this one's the Forgotten Island, but there's a good 12 or 13 of them out now from this particular company, and of course countless other ones out there. There's Unlocked and Deskscape are 2 that are quite big, and what I really enjoy about the exit games is if you download that app, there is a soundtrack that matches every single one of the games for that real immersive experience. They're great fun. They do take quite a while, but they're remarkably cheap for board games. They are one play only as well, because you are solving puzzles and problems, so once you've solved it you can't exactly do it again, but you can always obviously trade them between your friends. So great games. There is obviously the absolute classic Pandemic that a lot of people have heard about, that when you're trying to race to save the world against 4 deadly viruses, but I'm not really in the mood to talk about it right now. Our copy is actually at Andy's parents' house. It's doing very well for sales because people are strange, and it's not something that I would personally want to play, but if you like the mechanics of Pandemic, then a very similar one is Forbidden Island, and I believe they also have one called Forbidden Desert, which is another similar one. This one you're racing to try and get across an island to rescue 4 treasures before the island sinks. You have different characters that have different abilities, and your turns are broken down to being able to move, shore up or fix bits of the island that are being damaged, and then also try and like collect cards to earn yourself these treasures. It's really good fun, relies on a lot of cooperation, and if you like this kind of style, if you like Pandemic, this is very similar in terms of game mechanic. There's a lot out there that focus on this style of a cooperative. One that is semi-similar, which is just too big for me to hold up, is the Big Book of Magic. This one is, again, similar-ish to Pandemic and Forbidden Island, but rather than having a board that you're trying to like go across and like travel across to get to different areas of sort of jeopardy as such, this one you have pages of a book that you are going to slowly work your way through, and you have to try and it's a book of monsters and demons that you've unleashed on the world. You're a magical student, and you are trying to basically get all the demons back in the book before you get in trouble. You have elemental spells that you use to be able to do this. They're elemental cards, and there's a little bit more strategy to this one because of the ability to buy new powers, trade up cards to get higher value cards. There's a lot of different things going on there, and it's strictly turn-based, so you know exactly how long each game is going to go. You have a certain number of rounds, a certain number of turns per round. Nice and simple. As with a lot of cooperative games, the 2-player, like playing it with only 2 players, is easier compared to a lot of other compared to more players, because you have more opportunities to kind of keep passing your cards back and your resources aren't quite spread out. One thing I really like about the Big Book of Magic is that it has difficulty settings that you can build into it, so you can make it harder for yourself as you go. And then the final one I want to talk about is probably the hardest cooperative board game I've ever played. It's called XCOM. It is indeed based off the video game XCOM, if you've ever played that before, and it is really fun because it involves the use of an app. So the way it works is XCOM is about an alien invasion that you're trying to stop. When you're playing it, you have different roles. There are 4 different roles that are spread evenly amongst the players, depending on how many of you there are. There is an app that during the kind of jeopardy or panic phase of the game is shouting at you, telling you that there is, you know, alien invasion here, like satellite spotted here, alien craft ship spotted here, and you have to dish out your resources, and the different players have different resources that they control, whether it be manpower or money or satellites or things like that. And then once the terrifying countdown on the app is done and like it's just shouting at you about all the different aliens that are coming, you then pause and then resolve what has happened on the board. It's absolutely insane. You can set the difficulty level on the app based on like how much you've played it. But yeah, Andy and I have completed it before, but we played it recently with his brother and brother's girlfriend, and we sucked at it, and it was just mental. And all the sound effects are there from the video game, so it's really, really good fun. So those are just a handful of entertaining cooperative board games out there. So I hope you found this interesting and you found a couple of new favourite games out there to maybe try and play. And yeah, have you been playing many board games in lockdown? We definitely played quite a lot at the beginning, but we've started to sort of ease back on that a little bit because we're playing more video games at the moment. So if you know of any other cooperative board games you think I should totally check out, do let me know in the comments down below. I've already played Pandemic, we have it, don't recommend that one. I know it has a bunch of other expansions and things, but if you can think of anything else, do let me know. Have a wonderful reading week, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye!